and that scientist becomes perceived as a proponent of a point of view. And I think that kind of maybe happened to us. Oh, yeah. And I did an interview the other week. So you're a Bigfoot believer, and there's another button I wish people wouldn't press.
Believer, yeah. It makes it sound religious almost. You know, like, oh, you believe in God.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Faith is not involved here. This is evidence-based. And sorry if I sound a bit testy.
No.
So tell me why.
I said that to her online.
Yeah.
Sorry if but anyway.
Okay, so Dr. Muthram just said he doesn't like, just for the camera, he doesn't like being called a Bigfoot believer. Can you explain why you don't like being called a Bigfoot believer? Just for the camera.
Oh, the word believer, it implies almost faith, and it kind of gets away from the fact that any adherence we have to the hypothesis, well, more than a hypothesis, to our accepting the Sasquatch as an existing North American mammal is evidence-based on several forms of evidence. You know, the tracks, it's a track-leaving mammal, good eyewitness descriptions and drawings showing the rather consistent physical features, vocalizations, which unfortunately are currently just in that area where it's not this, not this, not this. We don't have anything positive to known reference material to refer to yet. Anyway, I guess that's
okay. Okay, that does answer the question. So, here's another question for you. Will hair samples or DNA samples prove the existence of Bigfoot?
I don't know. I'm told DNA could be very, very compelling to my scientific colleagues. You know, and I'm such an old school biologist that I still have trouble getting my mind around DNA.
Okay.
I shouldn't be admitting.
Well, you know, hair samples, because if something is, what I'm asking, I guess, is if a body isn't ever turned in, so there's never a body being turned in, there's only DNA from hairs, scat, blood, urine, tissue, whatever, and it's coming back as unknown primate. It doesn't seem to me, just my opinion, that would ever lead to the discovery of an animal. It doesn't scream. Scientists would never describe a new animal based on DNA.
No,
that seems, I'm uneducated, but that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Well, it comes down to needing the body.
So you need a body.
Needing a specimen.
A type specimen, that's right, the type specimen.
There's no getting around it. You need
Eventually. And my point has always been, can we not at least have a scientific discussion about the evidence and the likelihood of this hypothesis actually being proven? You know, is that? And it comes back. I think we owe it to those members of the public who, you know, almost in naivety, bring forward, gee, guess what I saw? You won't believe it. It sounds incredible, doesn't it? And that's then the word incredible comes up. Yeah, it does sound incredible. But anyway,
that's where it ends.
It's problematic.
Okay, so
anyway,
I have a billion questions, so just tell me to shut up when you're getting tired.
I'm just not sure I'm doing well. But anyway.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
You are doing fine.
That's not good. He sounds like he thinks he's getting grilled.
No, I'm your biggest fan, literally. So, why isn't there more physical evidence of Bigfoot recovered? What do you think? Why is it so hard to recover physical evidence? What do you think?
Are you afraid of, like, them being buried or what their names?
Like bones?
Anything. Hair, scat, bones, anything. Why is it so difficult to get physical evidence, in your opinion?
Yeah. See, bones I don't have such a problem of, because I know, like, 50 years as a wildlife biologist, two bear skulls over all that time. only 20 or so deer, and you know how many thousands of deer are out there. So, bones, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, not so much where you are, where it's dry and things stick around, but here things break down.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
But
So you think it's just a matter of really we're not looking in the right places, so we're not finding the physical evidence.
well, yeah. I mean, it depends if like Jeff and I, like I've been talking about plaster cast as physical evidence or hard evidence. It's a bit of a joke on radio.
Canadian joke.
And,
Canadian humor.
and Jeff makes the point that this is what we call trace evidence. It is trace or tracks left by the animal.
Okay.
And he's right, of course. But the problem is because we're not dealing at a level of a lot of sophistication. Pardon if this sounds snobbish, but people say, "Oh, trace evidence. Yeah, they're just finding little flecks of dust in here." No, it's not traced that way.
Yeah.
it's traced like different. So that's
Yeah,
why I tend not to use it so much.
Okay.
But
Okay.
no, but I don't know what it's
What about-
that was good? That was a good answer.
But how about like that research? What was the name? What's her name? Yeah, Kitchen. I mean, they have bones that they did the DNA test with. They had
Sorry, for which?
Kitchen's study that they did with the 9 PhDs.
Yeah.
And they did the, they had the nails, they had the feces.
There's another problem in DNA, and I don't know much about it, but in the lab, it's very easy to have contamination.
Right.
And so if you have human involved in the results, someone is going to say, "Gee, have you checked for contamination?" I think Melba Ketchum's quite defensive. There is no contamination. Okay, good. Good if she can defend herself, because that will be a concern of DNA colleagues.
Right. And I know that they've done that. I mean, again, when they did the research for that, from what I could tell so far, I'm trying to actually get their stuff so I can go through it. I mean, they did pretty strict to make sure there was no contaminants, and that she specifically wasn't involved with doing the tests of it. And I mean, I seen her with, they had this upper part of the arm, which is length of her whole arm, and she said, "Look, you can see where we took the DNA." And I'm kind of getting, because to me, I like stuff kind of tied up. So if you're telling us that you have the DNA evidence, and especially if you've got it in blood samples, because apparently they followed this group for like 5 years, did studies. I don't know if you knew that. And over the years, they've seen that the young ones grew approximately 6 inches a year. They actually put stuff out where they got blood samples from them, hair samples from them, feces samples. It's all in the study that she did.
I'm not
Part of her agitation was because after, of course, she did this, and because she was a forensic for the court system, as soon as somebody said, "Well, we heard you doing this Bigfoot study," well, the case would be thrown out
Her
because
credibility was ruined.
Yeah.
And so she lost her job doing she was a
Yeah.
forensic witness in court, and she lost her job because of her credibility.
Right. So putting that over here, which I get, it's kind of the politics and the environment atmosphere. But again, all this research stuff that they kept bringing forth, that they have, and they even said, "We have it extra if other scientists want to come and reproduce the studies." It was done with 3 different universities. I don't know. It's so frustrating because, I don't know if it's almost like either we have the evidence or we don't. I wish just someone would say we do. And if we do have it, let's produce it so we can kind of get some information.
Well, I'm reminded. I'm working with a guy in Georgia, vocalization, recordings. He's doing a good job with recording, and he actually did a course with, what is it at Cornell? Anyway, where the archive all the sound recordings, wildlife sound recordings, and birds. Anyway, he had one. He thought Sasquatch. He said, I want to send this tape, this recording to you. Would you be willing to look at it? Really good sounds like you have this too. Really good vocalizations being recorded. Just needs to be put together, backstory. Don't have to give away your location or your hot spot, but a rough location and the circumstances. Yeah. And then trying to attract. I know it's getting better. Wes Germer. Wes Germer. He does this a podcast.
Good friend of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a couple with him. Anyway, so I've got 2 replies. And one is from a professor in North Carolina. Oh, I just heard your podcast. No, this professor wants to talk to me. And then a woman in the UK, she found the research video. I work on bioacoustics. I think I might be able to help you. Whoa, no, that's what has to happen.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that one, it's not attractive enough to academia. It's just not attractive. It's not marketed well.
It's
not
repelling.
attractive.
It's repulsive.
It's repulsive. And then two is that it's not being shared well.
Well,
So that's interesting.
I've always thought that too. Like you and I were talking about that when I first met Rio. He was asking about how is this place so perfect for Sasquatch, and yet there's not very many, locations that have proof of where it's been, because people don't speak up about the experiences they have. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I like to not being shared well, or shared in an appropriate context. And I guess this is what I think I've become about. The context I'm looking for is my professional colleagues. I think sounds like I haven't seen much of your work, but Wes Germer's doing a pretty good job of archiving. Very good job.
Yes.
Archiving
Witness.
Yeah. So that this bank of evidence is accumulating, and this is why I wanted to do that talk. I said all I want to do is bring to your attention what's going on, and I feel bad because I'm talking to my BC professional colleagues. I mean, here we are in BC, one of the states or provinces, probably very near the top as far as having the most and best Sasquatch habitat on the planet.
Yeah.
And we're not interested. Thank you very much. Oh no, I'm not even thanking you very much. So it's bizarre. Anyway, so that was the
the share down the street says Bigfoot Donuts.
Yeah, I know. The sharing thing, or shared with. I don't want to jump on the paranormal, because that should be considered scientifically and is being in some areas, but some of the interpretations are really, well, they're allowed. We allow them to go because there's no alternative. But it's and with regard to my good friend Bobo and Clef finding Bigfoot, there's the good stuff, like you said, the eyewitness accounts, but anyway.
Then there's the cartoony.
Well, we were at a conference and Bobo was there, and I was talking to some people, and Bobo walked up. Oh, sorry, Bobo, I was just bad-mouthing finding Bigfoot. John, nobody bad-mouths finding Bigfoot more than I do. And I could have said, then Bobo, why do you say the things you say?
Yeah. So it's not getting good publicity.
I thought, it's
But stuff like that.
one step forward, two steps back.